All right. It is 11 o'clock. Rookie, can you hear me?
Yep, let's do this. Let's just dive in.
Let's do it. Let's do it. How are you doing?
All good, all good. Been a busy week.
Yeah, we've got some cool stuff to announce today. I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just dive in.
All right. So last week we launched our open beta and we've had people playing, we've had people downloading. We've been, it's a big milestone for us, but anything you want to talk about before we get into our announcements today?
No, I think um, we're just getting started with the open beta, as you know. That removes a huge barrier to entry for a lot of users. So anyone can start playing now. We can start growing our user base and community while still developing the game, which is a very unique way of game development, right? Because we're working in parallel to or with the community to develop the best game we can. So that's an ongoing process that we'll just keep on getting better and better at as we unfold over the next weeks and months.
Yeah, for sure. And in terms of Mac users, we've been hearing, some people having problems with downloading the game on Mac. Um, Rookie, you want to just give them a bit of context on what's happening there?
Yeah, so we did have some bugs and issues with the Mac launcher, and this is mostly due to first off, Mac is hard to build on. That's why a lot of developers don't build on Mac, but also just the certifications and user onboarding is a bit complex, and that's something we're working to solve. And we've got fixes that are incoming for Mac users. So hopefully you'll see Mac back online in the next week or so. And we'll keep you up to date regarding that. Regardless, if you do want to play on Mac and you don't want to download the launcher, which is understandable, um, contact us through our Discord and we'll give you access through Steam. Um, this is only a temporary measure until we have the full game sorted on the launcher and on other distribution channels.
Yeah, yeah. And just for anyone that's already downloaded the game, in closed beta for the past few months, specifically Windows users, you'll have to delete the game, uninstall the Steam version, and re-download it from our website directly through our own launcher. Our website's metamon.gg. Again, Windows users, uninstall and re-download. Mac users, for now, you might have to go through Steam, but that's going to change very soon, and we'll be announcing that soon. So let's dive in, man. Let's do this. We've got a few things on the agenda today. Um, why don't we start off with some of the game updates? I know there's been a map update. Talk a little bit about Supremacy and Menace, and maybe we'll go over some specific characters and abilities, because I know I got a couple cool clips to show. So why don't you just start off by telling us about the game mode? I mean, it's always good to reiterate that to people.
Yeah, so just in general, Metamon is a free-to-play player versus everything. So PVX, Monster Hunter game. So you are taking part in this universe where you explore and are encountering monsters with elemental powers and abilities that you can capture and use to battle and fight others with for loot and coin. So that's the a general overview of this. In terms of our game modes, we've got several game modes with our game. The first one is Supremacy, and Supremacy is our competitive mode where you enter uh, by spending a few coins to enter a map and as a human, and you can loot coin. You can find loot and coin through loot boxes and challenges and quests, and you're also encountered with these monsters regularly. So you can choose to either fight them or run away or do whatever you want, including capturing them in order to keep them for your future battles or for trading or whatever. So with Supremacy, this is our sort of play and earn game mode. With Menace, you have this kind of antagonist free to play mode where any player can dive in and you're basically assigned a random monster. You dive into the map and fight against the Supremacy mode players with that monster. Your job is to damage your enemies as much as possible, and uh, in turn you'll get rewarded coins that you can use in Supremacy mode.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we one of the modes is basically your average free to play mode, um, and then the other one is kind of a more competitive mode where there's a risk factor to it. You got to pay to enter, and you compete. And in both modes, obviously, you can collect loot, you can do all of that, and build your character up. So, um, bit of best sides of both worlds. I know each gamer has his own style, so yeah, let's dive into the next thing, man, which is the map. So, if you've been playing recently, you probably noticed that the map's been changing. Mostly the structure of it, the size of it, and essentially, we're specifically talking about the 1v1 map. So it's been kind of redesigned to improve the battle flow and essentially make it such that the players face each other very fast and it's just a better flow overall for the gameplay. So we'll show you a couple of those renders. Rookie, is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, so we're also updating the 1v1 game maps, and essentially the idea is that when you have the esports mode live, which is basically weekly tournaments where you fight against other enemies, you'll have the ability to fight within this smaller form factor of a map. And with that, you'll essentially have much shorter game loops that you can compete against other players with, and the best out of three gets to move on to the next round. So with these with this new map, it's much more focused. It's much faster and more focused on your abilities to battle against other players.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Here's a couple clips. It's an awesome map, especially with the new game modes. Um, so yeah, just download the game and try it out. It's all yours to experience.
And just to reiterate, it's there. We do have supremacy mode, menace mode, and those are our main modes. And then the 1v1 battles are reserved only for weekly tournaments. So you won't be able to just play that at any given point in time. You just have to sign up to the tournament, and we'll have announcements of future tournaments very soon.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as we get closer to mainnet launch, we'll be focusing a lot on the esports side and tournament side. I know personally, I love the 1v1 mode. It's pretty fun. So we can't wait to show you that. Next up, we want to focus a bit on the characters in the game. So I know you guys have been playing with them for a while, and you probably have tried out every ability you can. But we wanted to kind of highlight a couple characters, show you what they're all about in the game, and that's specifically Pico and Dax. So we showed you Pico's cards last week. We showed you a nice intro video for Pico. Pico is playable in the game. It's one of the first Metamons we put in the game. But one of his abilities is this really cool Pico wave, is what we call it, and it's a kind of a wide angle attack. It's easy for new players to use, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. Here's a clip of it. So as you can see, it gets pretty wide range of attack. Can hit players from pretty far with that move. Yeah, Rookie, anything you want to say?
Yeah, so basically with Metamon, if you're not familiar with the game, every single monster has its own unique abilities. So it's a very strategic game or style of play. As you see with Pico here, this is both of like combining both FPS, but also a bit more of a like leeway to be able to damage the enemy in front of you. So we're every monster has its own unique abilities, and as you see with Pico, you've got the wave. Uh, Up next, we do have another clip for Dax, and with Dax, you'll see also he's got AOE damage and the ability to kind of create this field of damage that or this trail of damage that follows him. Maro, can you put up the clip? Actually, here it is. So with Dax, you see you're able to create this area damage around the enemies, and this helps you kind of have less of a requirement to target that specific enemy. So it still requires skill, but you do have more leeway there.
Yeah, and in this clip, you can see that right there, the Metamon gets stunned. So, Rookie, why don't you tell them how that works and what is exactly stunning a Metamon? What does that do?
Yeah, so last time we talked about this a bit is when we released the Metamon captures inside of the game. So essentially, when you're faced with Metamon AIs throughout your game loop, you'll have the option to either run away or damage it and fight it. If you damage it enough, you can stun it, and when you stun it, you can capture it. So you're able to actually capture this monster and keep it in your roster so that you can fight again with that monster in your next game loop. Or if you want to trade it, you'll be able to trade it once the economy is launched.
Yeah. So, because I know probably a bunch of people are wondering this, but when you capture a Metamon, does that mean that you captured the collectible outside the game or not?
So when you're capturing the monster, you're going to be faced with a kind of a card that you can take and take it outside of the game, right? And that's basically how it works. Is you you're not guaranteed to capture it unless you extract out of the game, of course, right? So that's the core of the supremacy mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, those are the two abilities: the Pico Wave and the Dax Speed Trail is what we call it. Again, both of them are really easy for new players to use. They get a wide range of damage. But yeah, they're both pretty unique and fun to play with. So I hope you guys try them out. Next up, we've got some reveals to do for you guys, and specifically some memo reveals. So Memo is one of our Gen 1s. It's the one second from the right side there, the ninja looking guy. And as we showed you last week, we're releasing, some awesome looking cards with our art. Those cards reflect in-game characters as well. And next week, we'll be showing you guys kind of the process of capturing a card in game and what that's going to look like. But we've got a cool animation for Memo, kind of an intro video. So let me just play that and then we can continue the conversation.
That's fire.
Yeah, it's cool.
So with Memo, we've got essentially as you can see, like with every single character, we've got 3D assets, content, and more lore coming up. You'll get to experience these monsters and in a way that uh, we have in the past with other franchises like Pokemon and Digimon. So that's kind of our focus as you see this event and our franchise evolve over the next weeks and months. We'll have more of display of these monsters, including new cards and assets to represent these monsters inside of the game. And with Memo, we've got three new cards that we're excited to reveal today. These are each different rarities. You'll find them inside of the game loop, inside of the supremacy mode. You'll be able to collect them or capture these monsters and keep them. And eventually, once we kick off the economy, you'll be able to trade them in the secondary marketplace with your peers and other gamers. And with each of these cards, you'll have also different stats. So a slight boost in, let's say, movement or certain abilities or unique abilities within these monsters. So it's not only a cosmetic or rarity-based thing. It's also got functionality and utility within the game, and that's something that we've kind of kept consistent across all our inventory designs and economic design.
Yeah, the battle poses are just so awesome. Shout out to our artists for that. It's doing such a good job.
Yeah, and as Maro mentioned, we'll have these cards. We have some announcements next week about these cards and how they're going to fit inside of the game. So stay tuned for that when we have our event next week for Metamon Mania. But I think that a good lead up to this, or a good follow up to this, sorry, is revealing some of our new monsters that are coming into the game. Uh, we have three new monsters that we're revealing today. Um, and here you go. Each have different elements and abilities. As you can see, we have different like monsters from plant-based to ninja or fighting monsters, and these monsters you'll be hearing a little bit more, and we'll have some lore released over the next week or so, which will include some of these monsters there.
Yeah, so just like last week, you won't find these on the meta decks right now, but they'll be added. We'll be revealing their names, their powers, all of that, and eventually you'll be able to play with them in the game, which is going to be sick. But Rookie, I want to ask you, what's your favorite one out of these guys?
Oh, out of these guys, I think it's the plant-based one. I don't think you can go wrong with that one. He looks fucking badass, and also is like the evolutions that are coming in for these monsters are just gonna look sick.
Yeah, yeah, I think I'll probably say the same. The plant one is just the pose is awesome, so it's probably my favorite as well. But anyway, like I said, it's a long process from creating the art to creating the 3D characters, creating the actual playable rigged assets. So we'll get there, and we're excited for that.
Yeah, and
Anything else you want to add?
we have like plenty of monsters that are coming in. These are just Gen ones, so with these monsters, like you'll find them in the map, you'll find them in loot boxes, and you'll be able to capture them and collect them. And then later you'll be able to evolve them. So like there's still another layer of monsters that are still yet to be revealed, and that's kind of coming in later as we kind of grow this game and grow our community. Right now, it's focused on Gen ones, so you'll be seeing much more reveals of these types of monsters, and of course, with that, you'll have more expansion to the story and the universe and the lore that we have in our universe.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I see on our Discord, Piro is saying we should make a Metamon online trading card game.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's something we've been thinking about for a while, but one step at a time, right? Like first we have to make sure that the existing game we have, which is awesome in its own, like we just want to make that as successful as possible, and we'll keep on growing the universe and activities within the universe as we go, right? So it's a continuous process, and we're just excited to keep on growing this franchise, and hopefully um, soon we'll have more players to enjoy this game that we built.
Yeah, yeah. And just because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, but why don't you talk to them a bit about the process of creating a monster? Like, how does that work? Where does it start? And, how long does it take to get a monster into the game?
Yeah, it's an extensive process, all the way from just drawings, right, of these monsters, like literally uh, like digital drawings of these monsters evolving into 2D art, like the ones you're seeing right now, and then taking that and expanding it into full-blown model sheets. And what model sheets are is essentially kind of a blueprint of how this monster looks like in 3D. Once that is completed, we take this monster and we design it in 3D, and basically the 3D process in itself combines not only creating the body but also the skeleton, the animations, the skin, like the texture of the monsters, so that it's ready for the game and ready to implement inside of our game. And that whole process can take months, right? Depending on our availability of our artists, and how many monsters we're actually doing at a time. So that's why you're not seeing a lot in the game yet. We're releasing them step by step, but also like there's a lot happening behind the scenes. So hopefully you'll see them very soon. Also, I do
Yes.
want to throw in like something that we've been working on, and it's a bit early to say, like to really um, market this or anything, but it's more about um, uh, where our heads at going forward with Metamon. We're working to leverage a lot of AI tools to be able to like you know supercharge our ability to build this ecosystem, generate content, and craft and get those assets inside of the game. So that's an ongoing process as well. We'll have more information as we go, but in the meantime, you'll probably see some leaks of what we're working with the Lilo assets and so on. But that's just the testing phase, and we'll have more for you very soon.
Yeah. I mean, it's transformative. AI is completely changing the game in terms of how art is created, how games are created, and it definitely will be leveraging that. So, but otherwise, it's a long process to go from inspiration to a finished character to all those awesome action shots you've been seeing. It's a very long process, and one by one we'll get there. Right now, you can play with our starting five Metamon, or six are they right now? I'm not sure. They're all Gen 1s. They're the ones you're most familiar with. Some of the first ones we released. They're in the game right now. And again, in case you haven't been reading or you didn't watch last week's stream, but you can actually claim a free Metamon once you play the game for the first time. So you play the game, you finish up your training, which is basically just a tutorial on how to shoot stuff, essentially. And then you're actually able to go in and claim one of the Gen 1s for free. So that's yours to keep, and it's yours to start playing with. So again, we want to make it as easy as possible for people to play the game. We don't really believe in token gating and stuff like that. So we've made it such that people can get a Metamon without creating a wallet or really doing anything. So I encourage you all to do that. Down
Sorry, Mauro. I think I played a video while you're while
Yeah,
you're
no worries.
speaking. But yeah, yeah, play the
No
game, play
worries.
for free, download it from our website, and if you are on Mac, reach out on our Discord, and we'll give you access to the Mac version as well on Steam. But yeah, sorry, Mauro, to cut you off, but I really wanted to
No,
just show
no worries.
some videos in the background.
No worries. No worries. But yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. I do have some clips of Memo to show before we go into the last bit here. So let me just show you guys these. Just some nice sequences of Memo, some boss fights, stuff like that. So here you go.
Chaos thinks the boss so is that he is upside down.
I don't know why, but I'm seeing it a bit laggy on my side. Like blurry, I mean.
Well, it's just some test gameplay. We'll post it sometime later. But as you guys can see, it's perhaps the most versatile character that we have. I know Memo is one of my favorites. So yeah, go try him out. Try out all the Metamon. That's my advice to you guys.
Yeah, and try them out and capture them before we go to mainnet, because this is your opportunity to build up your roster before we go to the real full economy launch.
Yeah, exactly. So you better get there quick. Again, as you mentioned a couple times, next week we're going to be kind of revealing the process for how to capture these cards in game, and that's so cool, in my opinion. So I'm excited to show you guys that. That's all the updates we have for this week.
Well, you
We
forgot
will do a
one
quick.
thing, Maro. I think we have a little giveaway, right?
Right. Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
So
So for this week, go ahead. Why don't you give
no,
them?
you do it, man. You do it.
Yeah. So for this week, guys, similar to last week, we want you guys to get on the Metamon game. We want you guys to get on GameNot. We do have an in-game coin that we use. It's just it's not a tradable coin in any way. It's just an in-game coin. So if you create your GameNot account within the next 3 hours, so we'll probably end this around 2:30 Eastern time, we will drop you 100 metacoins for you to use in Metamon. So again, like we said earlier in the stream, to play Supremacy, there is an entry fee, and that entry fee is charged in metacoins. You can get those metacoins for free if you sign up for GameNot, which is the launcher and the infrastructure that we're using for our game. So to do that, go to auth.gamenot.gg. The link is right there on the screen. Or if you're downloading the game, once you download it, it'll redirect you to GameNot automatically. You can log in, you can sign up. Obviously, if you have an account, just log in. And yeah, do that within the next 3 hours. We'll drop you the coins in the next few days.
Yeah, and just to add to that, if you run out of coins inside of the game, just go ahead and play a Menace game mode, and you'll be able to rack up more coins if you damage your enemies. So just make sure you keep on hustling, and you'll never run out of coins.
Yeah, there's always a way to get more free coins. Well, they're not free. You need to kind of have some skill in the game. So
You need to earn them, yeah.
Exactly. But again, if you can't pay the entry fee for Supremacy, you can play Menace games for free. You'll spawn as a Metamon, and your whole job is to go literally be a menace to other gamers. So people that are playing Supremacy, they're in the same map. Your whole objective is to go kill them and stop them from extracting with their loot. And that menace game mode has no entry fee. It's completely free to play, but you still can collect loot and you can earn meta coins in that game mode. So if you ever run out, you can just go in for a few games, top up, and you're back in the game. So again, going back to that whole discussion on making it easy for people to play and make it cheap for people to play is really at the core of what we're building here. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
also, we're always listening to feedback, so feel free to leave us your feedback in our Discord or on Twitter, and we'll take it into account. For example, Billy and I think Piro wanted some give us some feedback about the menace mode last week, about radar pinging system to be able to easily identify your enemies as a menace mode monster. So we just incorporated that in the game this week. So try it out as well and let us know how it is.
yeah, for sure. So anything you want to tease for next week, Rookie? Because we've got a lot next week.
I think we're let's leave it as a surprise. let's just make sure that we don't reveal too much too early.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I will say this. We had a few people in the chat today on YouTube, so thank you for participating, and thank you all for watching. Maybe next week or the week after, we'll do some more interactive stuff with some kind of interaction with the audience, but we'll just leave it at that for today. So thank you all again. We'll be back next week with Metamon Mania number 3.
Peace.